3 home games coming up, 9 points on the table. One voice tonight says this Saturday isn't must win, just must not lose. Another says, no, this is important. This Saturday is must win. But here's the stat that sits over all of it. Town haven't won a game from going behind since 2024. That's 44 matches. And yes, while in the Premier League for a year is a good excuse, there is a question here. Are we in full control at home, or are we just one setback away from doubt creeping in? Hello again, friends, and you are my friends. I'm going to your pre-match meetup. It was, of course, the match preview. I'm, of course, your host, The Gov, and I'm here to discuss Swansea this weekend. Drop your score predictions in our chat right now. Let us know what you think. I'll read a few out shortly. Let us know where you're watching from as well. I'm joined, of course, by our resident therapist, Mr. Milkshake Man himself, Ben Adams, and Crystal Ball, Richard Chandler. And Rich, I want to start with you, really, because you've said it's not a must win, it's a must not lose. Talk me through that a little bit.
Because I'm always confident that we're going to win at home, to be totally honest. So I think we will win, but and we're so hard to beat at home. We've not lost many games at home in the Championship or League One. Let's ignore Premier League for a moment. And I just think, in reality, we've now got ourselves in a position where we're chipping away at that gap that Borough and Coventry built. And we've still got the 2 games in hand, one of which is next Tuesday. Mm-hmm. That's probably the one that you've got to win when you look at the slip-ups that Coventry and Borough have been having. Even again last night, Coventry did come back well from going behind, but they were probably a bit lucky because I think that was probably a penalty. Much as the first time I saw it, I think it was a dive. The next time I saw it, I don't think it was. I think he actually did clip him. And then they don't get anything from that game. I think they're on the edge of losing games and drawing games a lot more than we are. The games we win, we're comfortable in.
So if they're on the edge of, as you just said, would that mean this game is a little bit more important and a win is vital to keep that momentum flowing, do you think?
I think that's why I think it's a must not lose, because
so a draw would be okay with you.
I think reality of it is the 3 games. If you look at 3 game blocks rather than one individual game, 3 game blocks are more important. And if you do 2 points a game or more over each 3 game block, we get promoted because we catch them. I'm not a big fan of an overreaction after a loss. Yes, Wrexham was a shocking, shambolic defensive performance, but we were away at a team that have only lost 1 game at home all season. And we didn't play badly because going forward, we actually looked all right. It was defensively, we were all over the shop.
Yeah, whereas Tuesday was the other way around. Not the other way around, but we looked very solid. And Ben, you, on the other hand, you said to me, this really is a must win, really, to keep that momentum going and lay down a marker. Is that right?
Yeah, on its own, I probably agree with Rich that on its own, it's not a must win. But for the thing that will carry us over the line, if we're to get there, it is the onus on momentum. I think because it's very stoppy. It sounds strange to say we're 3rd in the league now, but it does seem a bit stoppy-starty. We never quite know what performance we're going to get from this team. And if it was just Middlesbrough and Coventry we were up against, I might say yes, not so much of a must win. But we've got our Millwall, who are now firmly in contention, and they are turning it on big time. I can't see Coventry having a wobble. Middlesbrough, maybe. And if that was the case, I'd say, okay, a point's good. But you got Millwall right behind. I in my opinion, I think it's 15, 16 cup finals. And if you read the boards of Coventry and Middlesbrough, they're actually saying the exact same thing. Because when you get to this stage in the season and the points at the top are this close, they're all cup finals. So I would say I err on the side of I really want to put 2 wins back to back and really cement our home form, because if our away form is going to be average, our home form has to be brilliant, and that means we have to win Saturday.
Yeah, because it's got to carry you over the line. I've got a great comment in the chat from Andrew. Andrew, I'll start that. We'll come back to that when we come to our who should play or our lineups or what we're doing in terms of that. Mike Baker says next 3 home games are pivotal. 2-1, says Adi Crouch. He's gone for a 2-1 Town win. Adi says it's a must win. Asmark says it's a must win. 2 must wins there, Ben, from 2 of the live chat. Do keep them coming in. And we are looking for an extra voice on the Match Reaction show directly after the game at the Sir Alf Ramsey statue. Do swing by, come and have your say, win, lose, or draw. Right. So stability versus a sort of a statement, if you like. Rich is saying take it in 3 game blocks, 2 games, 2 points a game. That'd be what, 2, 4, 6. So you're looking at 2 wins and a draw. That's what Rich is saying. Whereas Ben is saying momentum, home form's got to carry us. Let us know what you think. Okay. Don't forget, we are partnered with Match Bingo. Remember the word town, all in caps, TOWN, town, all in caps for a 100% deposit bonus. When you deposit the minimum of £10, while bonus cash can be withdrawn, the winnings absolutely can be. Over 18s only, terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information. Right, so if this win is going to happen, selection is huge, right? So let's go on to selection now. Rich, when we were speaking about what you would do team-wise, you brought 2 changes to me. Davis, if he was fit, and Burns for Egley. So my first question to you really is, I'm old school. Why are you changing the winning team?
I think it's a difficult one because I think I'm changing it because, yes, Egley scored a good goal, but I don't think he was that effective the rest of the game. I think Burns offers us so much more going forward. Reality of it is Jack Clark's they've done the 1-2. That was a really skillful 1-2. And Jack Clyde tried to outside of the foot of it for it to then deflect for Greaves to cross it for Hurst to do a really great piece of skill off his stomach.
It's a great finish.
But every time you look at how much focus there is on Clark when he gets the ball, they put 2 around him. If you've got Burns on the other side, they can't do that because they can't do 2 on either.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and it makes a massive difference. And as for Davis, he's playing a different role this season because he's doing a much more inverted role rather than going out the outside. But his runs are pivotal. He gets himself up there and it creates the space because it drags the runners away. Greaves did play really well on Tuesday. I would have no complaints if Greaves started at all. But I've said for a few weeks that I probably would have brought Greaves in for Kipre before now because Kipre's been on the wobble for 4 or 5 games. So if I was going to do a third change or second change, it could be that it's Greaves going inside and Davis going on the left.
Yeah. Well, because Andrew says, I think Greaves should keep his place in the team. And as for Furlong, you've got to love him, but my God, he plays to go on the edge. Just feels like he's likely to punch an opposing player, says Andrew. Never come that close to Steiner Furlong, Rich, but he does play on the edge. You need that in your side, and he certainly brings it in. Talk to me about Kipre then, because I really enjoyed Kipre and O'Shea as a partnership. I think when we found it and we stuck with it, it took a long time to stick with it. But after sticking with it, I'm really happy with it. You're seeing signs, though, with Kipre where you're thinking maybe it's time Greaves was perhaps put in, or you wouldn't be upset. What have you seen?
I think
perhaps I haven't.
I think Kipre's a really good defender.
Yeah.
As in balls in the box, all of that kind of stuff, tackles, blocks. But the amount of times when he gets exposed by a ball over the top because he's got no pace, even against Watford, they should have scored. The ball's gone past Kipre and O'Shea's had to bust a gut to even get close to putting a challenge in and put the guy off when it was still 0-0.
Yeah.
And that's happened a few times. The last few games that he's had more than one occasion where he's been completely outstripped for pace.
Which is surprising because many fans would be saying, well, if one centre half's got to be changed, it's got to be the captain, who I thought was phenomenally good. Really, after and when you talk about responses, that was a huge, not phenomenally good, but really good on Tuesday, and was a good response. Ben, you're a little bit like me. I think you would prefer to see the same 11 rewarded for a really excellent performance at Watford. You can say Watford were poor all you like, but I say Town were good. and you'd rather see the same 11 and then perhaps look to rotate on Tuesday and beyond. But really, am I right in thinking that you'd go unchanged?
Yeah, and it's like a 51-49 split because every time Kieran kind of fucks around with the team, not good things happen. Wrexham was a great example of that. So there is something to be said for consistency, and we won the last game and we stay consistent, but only just because I probably agree with Richard about putting Leaf in at home. Leaf is a left back who bombs forward, and teams don't tend to flood that right forward space away from home. They do when they're at home. There's a bit of a controversial, well, from what I posted up there, that I would say there's even a conversation to be had that when you're away from home, you actually put Greaves at left back because he tends to stay there and defend a bit better than Davis. Davis is a wonderful player, but he's an absolutely crap defender, in my opinion. He's wonderful going forward. His energy, the fitness, the crosses, but he is not a good defender. I think Greaves is a better defender in that position. So you might argue that actually away, Greaves goes there. At home, Leaf goes there. It's just a different way of thinking about it. But on the other side of it is, again, he didn't have the best game. But Nunes does tend to bring out the best in him, and I think Nunes is going to start, and Igeli will be a better player for it. But I also do see the point that we know what we're getting with Wes Burns, and although it will be another change, boy oh boy, does Wes Burns know Portman Road, and you can't discount that kind of familiarity and confidence in the player. And I think he's getting a bit fitter every game. You look at the tackles he goes into, could go either way, right? Could go either way.
But there was also an argument though, off the back of scoring a really good goal, Egley now, if you give him another run or another performance at home, is there a confidence for him that he can take from a good performance? And it was a good performance. He doesn't have to be 10 out of 10, from minute 1 to minute 90. He just needs to be big in the big moments.
I don't think it was. I think it was a poor performance of a good goal. And that's absolutely.
That's what you need. But that's all you need from your right winger.
It's a fair thing to say. Yeah,
right.
And I think that's what it was.
So exactly. Yeah, I would agree with that. It wasn't a good performance, but the sense of big moments, big opportunity, he could have lashed at that. It could have ended up in Rosé, but he's kept over it. It's a good finish. So I'm thinking about the confidence. However, let's borrow Rich's crystal ball for a minute. If he was to tinker with it a little bit, and Town did go on to lose, is the selection one of the issues you'll be speaking about post game? Is it one of the things you'll be famously put on Facebook on the forum? Would that be an issue that you'd be sort of focusing on as a reason why? Ben?
I thought that thing was to Rich, and I was reading a comment. Paraphrase that down into 10 words. I'll answer.
If we borrow Rich Chandler's crystal ball and we lose, and he has gone for a little bit of a different selection, is that one of the reasons you'll be putting down as to why that was a defeat?
I never really put down the reasons why I'm disappointed, whether it's a selection issue. I do think we changed about too much. I don't know. I mean, that'll be the beauty of hindsight, right? I can only say from where I stand right now, it feels that that will be the best for us. I do think the fact that our home form is infinitely better than our away form, we have more fluidity in what we can do. I think when we start fucking around away from home too much, that's where it really gets my goat. Home, I think we're good enough that we can. Yeah. So that's the difference,
Okay. Paul says, although all games are important, the whole game is bigger. 2-0 Town on Saturday. 80 says, who'd have thought we'd be looking over our shoulder and seeing Millwall there? Yeah. As Mark agreed, Ben, Leaf defensively strong. See this is why Ben got distracted, because people in the chat are agreeing with Ben, and Ben was like a magnet. He was drawn to the agreement.
I'm not seeing anything like that from anyone when it comes to football, but here we go. I'm sitting here all shocked. I don't know.
You're more used to looking at your phone and seeing 500 notifications as to why you moaning all the time. AD, I really enjoyed Cree's performance versus Watford. Completely the opposite for me versus Wrexham. And James thinks both games are important. And of course, we've got Hull Millwall still to come. But debating how to strengthen a winning side, Rich, it's a really good position to be in, isn't it? It's the where you want to be.
Yeah, totally. And you've got to forget, well, not necessarily forget, but we've also got Philogene come back.
Yes, good point.
And is Philogene coming back going to be akin to when Burns came back in the promotion season for the last 3 games and has the effect that gets us over the line.
Yeah, it's a really
Because
good point.
there's some
It's
big
really
old
good point.
games in that last 4 or 5. We've got some big games.
Yeah, and it's a really good point because obviously you've got Mehmeti now, you've got Nunez, you've got Jaden when he comes on back. Go on, Ben.
I would say that in the same way, argument for Leif Davis to Greaves and how you can kind of swap them out depending home and away. I think the same can be said for Jack Clarke and Philogene. Jack Clarke, by the way, I think is very, very good both home and away. But Philogene is a home player, and without his goals, we're like 11th. You know, so he has been incredible at Portman Road. He has the flair. Away from home, Jack Clarke is the more all-rounded, solid player with a bit of flair, which I would argue is better in the away grounds. So if Clarke does get dropped for Philogene when he's fit enough, there will be a part of me that thinks always been a bit hard done by there because he's been so good. But you just cannot discount magic, and I think he's the only player in our team that has it, really, in our entire squad. Nunez does lovely things, but Philogene does otherworldly things, and when he's on his game, he's the best player in this league by a country mile. So does he come right back in when he's fit, and will it be harsh on Jack Clarke? Apples, oranges, you know.
Yeah, I think it'll be harsh. I think we've always got the best out of Clarke away and Philogene at home. But I absolutely hear you. You know, Clarke has really sort of taken over from Philogene and made it less of a worry. And more of a, I wish we had that player off the bench, etc. Just because you want the quality, as opposed to that. Oh, we're absolutely desperate. I want to give a big shout out to our 12th man, the TT crew. I see plenty of you in the chat. Love it. Adi Croucher, Asmark, and many others. Thank you all so much. And whether you're backing us on YouTube or Ko-Fi, the platform runs because of you guys. So thank you all so much. If you like what we're building here, because we are fan power, we are for fans by fans. I want to help us keep powering on up. You can become a member. Hit the join button on YouTube. For fans by fans. Right, 44 games. I mentioned it, Rich, in my intro. All right, and I know you're not a huge fan, but let's deal with it properly. I'm going to start with Ben first because I want to come back to you in terms of the 44 because I know you're not a fan, so I just want to let you simmer and sit there and take it in for a minute, just because I know it makes you
let me be the canary in the coal mine. Yeah, do that.
Absolutely. Let's do it properly. Tanner won a game from behind in 44 matches, nearly really a full championship season. Yes, you got the Premier League year in there. Yeah, it's an excuse. I'll buy it, Rich. But Ben, is it a mental block now?
That's such a hard question to answer. It's funny because when you watch it happen, it doesn't come across like a mental block. Like you see a striker not scoring goals, you feel it that it's a mental block. You see the brain's not quite there. I don't know. It's such an anomaly. I think we're one of only something like 2 teams in the 94 that actually have this stat, and it's quite frightening because usually we associate doing that with heart. That they had the heart to come back from 1-0 down and win 2 or 3-1. So we could think, okay, if that's lacking, are we lacking heart? I would argue on occasions this season, yes, we are. Wrexham was one of them. We absolutely lacked heart that game. But there does seem to be something there, right? It's when a team stops winning at home, for example, you think something it's a mental block. And that's 44 games. And I don't discount the Premier League as much. I know you have to take into consideration. But you like to think that if you are a team to get promoted into the Premier League, you have to be doing that at least more than once, or 0, as the case may be. Has a team ever been promoted in any league ever by not coming from a goal down to win a game? There's a more interesting question to find a stat. I don't think it's ever happened.
Well, we wouldn't have done. You know, in terms of promotion, if it wasn't for the Jeremy Sarmiento goal, which was the last time, funnily enough, Town did actually come
and everyone says that was the moment it was done because it happened, and it needed that moment to happen at the right time to come from a goal down and win a game that just set it was like putting nitrous oxide in your engine. That was the game that just flew us into orbit. And why? Because it happened. Can we get through a season of that not happening and do the same thing? I guess maybe we'll find out. You know.
I think we have to. I think we absolutely have to turn it around, Ben, because I think if we go behind on Saturday, for example,
we're not winning.
Exactly. That's the thing. The collective mindset of the fans, some fans, I'll come to you in just one moment, is going to be, we've conceded. We know the story on this one. So it's got to be, right? Rich, I know you're not a fan, so I'll pivot to you now. All right, I'll bring you into this bit. what other stats have you got for us, Rich, that perhaps you would like us to be talking about instead of the one we've just talked about?
Clean sheets, because if you don't keep clean sheets, it doesn't matter whether you don't need to come from behind. We've kept 12 clean sheets this season. No other team in the division's kept as many. Promotion season, we kept 15 in 46 games, which actually tells you that we weren't that great in a lot of games, but we came from behind because we had to come from behind. I'd rather you don't have to come from behind.
Yeah.
I could care less. Care less if we don't come from behind then.
12 clean sheets already this season. Is that really the case? 12.
10 for Walton, 2 for Palmer.
See, that's interesting, right? Because we often criticise about us being perhaps too aggressive or too open or whatever the case may be. But is that narrative actually now a little bit incorrect on Ipswich? And actually the evolution of this year's team actually is one of not a sound foundation, but one that certainly knows how to keep a clean sheet.
I think that's part of it, because I think that's, you look at the Wrexham game is a real classic example of it becoming like a basket of becoming like a basketball game. We had a lot of games, the Southampton game that we're the Sarmiento winner, where we weren't very good for 75, 80 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And we came into it from the bench and players scored and stuff like Bristol City, Rotherham. I'm trying to think of others. There was loads in the promotion season where we did win a lot of points from coming from behind, which is great. But that was never going to stay like that. And I do think some of that led into the Premier League season, because I think that Kieran maybe got a bit big for his boots and thought we could play the same way in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And you can't. You just can't play that way.
Funnily enough, we've actually got more points at this stage in the season than we did when we actually went up from the Championship, which is another strange stat. I was actually really surprised to hear that, because by this point last time, but maybe because it was all new and we never thought we'd even be there, so you don't put so much pressure on the expectation of going up. But 12 clean sheets is great. I'm paraphrasing an old football saying, but it tends to be a true one, is that something like being great, being good gets you in the top 6, it pushes you. Having character gets you promoted. You know, and I think the times when you see character the most are when there is all this running towards adversity. God, I fucking hate that saying. It's so American. But when you are actually kind of reacting to something and showing a bit of bottle, that those are the teams that get promoted. And you know this because Coventry, Middlesbrough do it a lot. They go down a goal a lot, and then they just come back and win all the time.
I'll counter that. How many clean sheets did goals did Burnley concede last season?
Oh, no,
very few goals. They conceded something like 16 or 17 goals all season or something stupid. So they can't have come from behind very often. Doesn't make a difference. They still got promoted. And they got promoted with our ex-keeper on the bench because he thought he was better than us.
Well,
still rotting on the bench, but a Premier League player, so he got what he wanted.
Yeah. As Mark, I've noticed with horses, of course, it's just annoying when McKenna makes unnecessary rotations for the sake of it. Emily, as we know from previous seasons, if it goes down to the last game, any drop in points or boost of points can make a significant difference. The difference between automatic promotion or playoffs. Andrew, we need to keep playing the same team, only change when necessary, not like the Wrexham mess where 20 changes were made for the
maybe that was a really good watershed moment for Kieran, because it's like, we change all the team to preserve all the good players for the next one. It's the oldest bloody cliche in the book in football, but it completely and utterly backfired, because not just because we lost the game we rotated, but we fucking lost the game we were saving the good players for. So hopefully something's like, maybe rotation to keep it fresh is not such a great thing all the time. That if you've got a good team, you just play a good team. It's the simplest explanations tend to be the best ones. And the simplest thing is, if they're winning, don't change it. It doesn't matter. So maybe it was a moment where Kieran thought, that rotation utterly failed us. And funny enough, we put in the worst performance of the season.
Go
on.
I was going to say there's a couple of things there, because maybe that's our Bristol Rovers moment.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. But
exactly.
But also, I'd said before, and I think I might have said it on here, but I definitely said it in social media. I'd have gone strong in the cup game, because the momentum that you get especially playing them the week after,
So would
because
I.
I just don't
So
think
would I.
I just don't think that helped. And I would have played. Matchday were played in the third round at home to Blackpool, who are a lower league side in a game that we should win with our second string team, but then didn't play. And we all know what happens when he doesn't play, because that's another stat that I'll just quickly come on to. Nunes has played 10 games in a Town shirt. We've drawn one, lost one. The one we lost was the game Matchday didn't play. So they have never lost a game when they've played together.
Well, there we go. There you go. What a great stat that is. And it's certainly something that, we have to, I feel, prove wrong and conquer is the 44 games. And this team is a team over the years that has constantly changed narratives, the Sky Sports curse and all those different things. But it's got to do it for me. And I think they will. Because if we're finishing second, that stat eventually has to fall. And we're going to go big picture in a moment. Before we do, don't forget Stowmarket Osteopaths, physiotherapy and osteopath services. Give them a call on 01449 613 633. Quality care in Stowmarket since 1985. 01449 613 633. All right, big picture, promotion lens, top two. Rich, I know. I'll ask the question. I know the answer, but I'll ask the question. Are we finishing in the top two? Yes or no?
Yeah.
What gives you the confidence out here today to say yes?
There's a few things, but I've said for a long time that we'll finish top two.
You have.
You look at the form table since the end of the summer transfer window. So 1st September, we're second by 6 points now, because Coventry won yesterday, but with 2 games in hand on them. So if we won both the games in hand, we would be on exactly the same form as them, and they're top of the form table since then. And we actually were further away from the top 2 in the promotion season. So why won't we finish top 2?
Okay, no, that's fine. You got us for top 2. You've had it all season long. Ben, is this the run or the start of the run? Swansea, Hull, etc. All at home, got 3 at home. Is this the run that could define the season?
I was thinking about this as I was driving in mid-Suffolk last night. I was connecting with some old friends in Framlingham, of all places, and I was thinking, are we going to finish in the top 2? My gut says no. I don't think we are. I just think that I watched Coventry versus Middlesbrough, and I watched the speed of the transitions, and I watched all the. I just think they're a little bit too far ahead, and they're not going to fail than we're going to succeed. I just think they're going to win more games than we are, and it's a maths thing, and we might win. I don't know, 10 out or 11 out the next 16 matches. I just think they'll win 12 or 13. That's my reason.
Rich, in one sentence, Town will finish second because
we'll win both the games in hand and we'll beat Borough at home.
Ben, Town will finish second because
I never work on assumptions in matches.
Love it. I love it. All right, we'll go that. Right, let's sort of.
We're Ipswich Town fans. We can't. God, I wish we could. Rich. I wish we could.
Max Fax says, I think we stumbled into second after Borough have soiled the bed, says Max Fax. Kirk, the game we come back to win will be against Norwich. Oh, Kirk. Chef's kiss, that one. Beautiful.
Game.
With a Martin Nunez free kick in the dying minutes of the game.
Would you imagine would you take a 1-0 win away at Norwich now, or would you take a 2-2 96th minute Nunez free kick equaliser at Carrot Road just to stick your fingers up at them? So it's 2-1 down, 96th minute, Nunez scores a free kick and does this, or we win it 1-0. What would
always
you do?
1-0. Always at the 3 points. We need them desperately because I want to be in the league above them, and they sadly have looked like they're not going to be relegated anymore. So for that to happen, we have to win promotion. Couple of comments, and then we're going to finish on a rapid fire. All right, I'm going to throw some questions at you. I want your first response, quick response, rapid fire to end the show. AD said before the Watford game, I said no, but I believe I was wrong saying that. I think top 2 now. Trevor, Coventry have turned the corner. We're not catching them. Who would have thought that 2 weeks ago? Andrew, Burns has to start instead of Egley. We need experienced head. Take Egley's mishit shot away, and he was poor. Andrew, I'm going to call that up, Andrew. That's a warning. I don't like that. That's not a miss-hit shot. That's not a miss-hit shot whatsoever. I'm
Yellow
joking,
card.
There's no warning, Andrew, but that's not a miss-hit shot. Come on. Just a little bit unfair. All right, here we go. Rapid fire. The score will be, Ben.
2-1.
Rich.
3-1.
First goal scorer, Rich.
As on.
Oh, I like it. Ben, first goal scorer.
Burgess.
All right, I wasn't expecting that as a response. All right. Confidence out of 10, 1 being not confident, 10 being really confident for this Saturday. And very quickly, why? Ben.
7, we're at home. Form's good. Go with the maths.
I like it. Rich.
8, nearly fully fit squad.
Like it. All right. And to finish up, headline. What will the headline be? What will Stuart Watson? What will Andy Warren be writing in his match report? What will the other gentleman at the Sunday Times, whose name's escapes me, I'm so sorry, Alex. What will they be writing Sunday morning as their headline following this game, Rich?
Professional win.
Professional win. I like it. Two back-to-back professional wins. Woo. Ben?
Hurst silences doubters after hat-trick demolition. And no, I haven't been drinking and I haven't smoked a damn thing.
Optimistic but grounded. That's what I like about you, Ben. Optimistic but grounded. 3 home games.
Fucking stupid.
Three home games. Pressure applied. Belief is certainly building. The 4-4 game stat is there, but as Richard Chandler just said, there are other stats that we could certainly look to as our Northern Star, if you like, of where this team is certainly.
What's yours, Gov? Questions right back at you. Gut reaction, score on a weekend.
All right. Score 3-1. Goal scorer, first goal scorer, George Hurst. Confidence is a 8, same as Rich. Headline: Dominant Town deliver in style is what I'd probably go with. Something along those lines. Something like that. But you can join us, win, lose or draw, Saturday. Sir Alf Ramsey will be doing our fan reaction. Do pop along. It's recorded, so you don't have to worry. It won't be live, but you can still share your thoughts with me. I need an extra voice. You'd be more than welcome. And if you want to be part of the 12th man, please hit the join button on YouTube and help us to continue to grow. But until the match reaction, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Ben, Rich, I've been your host. You've been absolutely wonderful. I'm off to watch Egley's goal just to make sure I wasn't too harsh with Andrew when he says it was a missed shot. We'll see. You've reached the end. Thanks for watching. Check out more videos, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.